Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is the third tutorial in this course, and in this tutorial we'll be talking about how we can include comments in our script files and a few more interesting and important things that we need to know before we dive deep into the fundamentals of Python programming language, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll fire up my Python IDLE, that is the GUI application that we're going to use, and I'll just open the file that I created in the last tutorial. And if you guys remember, I named it first underscore script, and this file just has one executable statement at the moment, and I just have a print function call, and within parentheses and double quotes I have some text, and if we run this file the way it is, then we see the text. And I'll just run it to refresh your memory. So when I press the F5 button, I see the text that's there in the double quotes, and that's hello world. Right now, let's say you want to add some explanatory text into this file that you don't want the interpreter to mess with. Like, you don't want the interpreter to do anything with that text or with that information. You just want that information to be there so that if anyone has a look at the code that's there in the file, or if you revisit your file, let's say 6 months later, then what's the purpose of having that program there, right? So to include a comment in a script file in Python, what you have to do is you have to start your comment with the hash symbol or the pound symbol, right? So you type in that, and then you can type in anything that you want to type. So I just type in this is a comment, and if you think that your comment is going to span over multiple lines, it's not going to end in one line, then at the beginning of each new line you still have to type in the hash symbol, right? So this is different from a language like C, in which you can have a slash and an asterisk symbol at the beginning of your comment and a slash and an asterisk symbol at the end of your comment, and you can span your comment over as many lines as you want. You can't do that in Python. At the beginning of each new line you have to put in the hash symbol. So this is line 2. These comments don't really make much sense, but then when you will make big programs, and this is something that I would suggest you guys to do, get in the habit of commenting your code as much as possible, because later on, as I said, when you visit your code, it just makes sense to see what you see, right? So I hope you guys get the point. Save the file, and when I run it, I see that I still get my message hello world, but then the comments have not been displayed. So Python really hasn't done anything with the comments. The interpreter has just ignored the comments, right? The next thing that I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to create a couple of string variables and show you a few things that you need to know about strings, right? So I'm going to talk about variables later on in the course in a lot of detail, and also about strings later on, but then in this tutorial I just want you guys to know a couple of things. So the way you create a variable in Python is you give it a name. So I'll call my first string variable str1, right? And then you use the assignment operator or the equal to symbol, and then since I'm creating a string variable, I'll have to use double quotes, and I'll put in some text in my string. So I'll just type in my string, and if you guys don't know what a variable is, you can think of it for the moment as a container in the memory, and you can put some stuff in it, right? So we're just storing some characters in it at the moment, and you can store like lots of different kinds of things in variables in Python. But for this tutorial, I just wanted to work with a string variable, so that's why I've created one. And when I press the enter key, I don't see any message or anything, but my variable has been created, and I can confirm that by just typing in the name of the variable at the prompt. So if I type in str1 and press the enter key, I see that I get the text that's there in the variable, and I also see a pair of single quotes, one at the beginning and one at the end, and that's to indicate that this variable is a string variable. And I can also use the print function to see the content of my variable. So since I've already used quotations to create my variable, I don't have to use quotations within the parentheses here. I can simply type in the name of my variable, which is str1, and when I press the enter key, I simply see the text, and I don't see the quotations around the string, because I've used a print function here, right? So what if you want to have a new line between several words that you have in your string? So let's say if I want a new line, instead of a space character, I want a new line between the words my and string. So if I create another variable str2, put the assignment operator, get in my first double quotation mark and write the first word, which is my, and then press the enter key, I'll get an error. So that's not allowed in Python, but then there's a way around it. If I want to have a new line between several words or sentences in my string, then what I can do is I can use triple quotes instead of using double quotes or single quotes, right? So I'll type in str2 as my variable name. I'll put in the assignment operator, and instead of using the single quote twice or the double quote once, I'll get in the double quote symbol thrice. And now when I type in my and press the enter key, I see that I don't get an error message. Instead, the cursor starts blinking on another line, a new line, and I can type in my second word string, and I'll have to end my string with the same quotation sequence and the same quotation symbols that I used at the beginning of the string, right? So if I've used 3 double quotes, then I have to put in 3 double quotes here. And when I press the enter key now, I get my prompt back. And if I type in the name of my variable str2 and press the enter key, I see that I get the string, and I also see the new line escape sequence between the 2 words, which is an indication of the fact that there is a new line character between the 2 words. And if I use the print function to see the text in the string, I'll type in str2 here. When I press the enter key now, I see that the string is formatted the way I created it, and I see the 2 words on 2 different lines. The last thing that I want to show in this tutorial is what you have to do to have 2 executable statements on the same line in a script file in Python. So I have just one executable statement, which is the print statement here. Let me have another one. I'll have another print function call. Within double quotes, I'll type in something else like what's up and save the file. And when I run it, I see that I get the 2 strings on the output screen. Right now, what if I wanted to have these 2 print statements on the same line? Not the output statements, but just the executable statements. What if I don't want my program to be too lengthy, in the sense I don't have to scroll down to see the code, so I want to have like 2-3 statements on one line. So if I put a backspace and have these 2 functions on the same line and execute the program, I get an error message. Python tells me that that syntax is invalid. So what I can do to get around this is I can have a semicolon between the 2 print functions. I'll save the file, and now when I execute it, I see that I don't get an error message. Instead, the values are displayed, these string values are displayed, right? So this is what you have to do if you want to have 2 executable statements on one line, or even more than 2. You just have to separate the statements with the semicolon character. And if you create a variable in Python and you restart your shell, then that variable is lost. So let me create another variable, str3, and I'll give it a value. This is a string, and I'll press the enter key to create it. And if I type in the name of the variable and press the enter key, I see that the text is displayed. Now I'll go to shell and I'll restart the shell, and you can do this by also pressing Ctrl and F6 together. And when I do that, the shell is restarted. And now when I type str3 and press the enter key, I get an error message, and Python tells me that the variable does not exist. So this is a very important thing, and you should make a note of it, that if you have created variables and if you restart your shell, then those variables are lost. So you should be careful about this. And that's it for now. In the next tutorial, we're going to talk more about variables, and we'll see how we can assign values to variables, and we'll check out some more interesting features. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and you may subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon. Take care.